Hey folks, welcome back to the channel, denwalker.com. Welcome again. I'm going to talk a little about folic acid and folate today. I talked a little last week about folic acid and methylfolate a little bit, but I just want to add one more thing to it. So a lot of folks are taking a multivitamin, and I applaud you for that, because that whole conversation have come full circle in that a few years ago, lots of providers were saying if you have a balanced diet, you shouldn't have to worry about getting additional supplements in your system because your supplement should come from your diet. And again, that was one conversation, but we all have very busy lives now, and so the diet's not always as good as it should be. So a lot of folks are supplementing themselves with multivitamins and so forth. So specifically, though, I want to talk about folic acid in your multivitamin. So look at your bottle when you see it, and sometimes it'll say folic acid, and then in parentheses it'll say folate. Now, there's an assumption there. The assumption is that when you take folic acid, there's an automatic conversion from folic acid into folate. Now, it's not quite true, and a lot of folks, including physicians, say that. They say take folic acid, and somehow in their minds that is an automatic conversion into folate. It's not quite true, because about 44% of us in this country have a genetic disorder, or could have one, that prevents us from converting folic acid into folate. It's the MTHFR gene, Methylene-Tetrahydrofolate Reductase Gene Disorder. So if you have that disorder, then you run the risk of elevated homocysteine levels. And homocysteine that's too high has been associated with a whole bunch of cognitive disorders, blood pressure problems, high blood pressure, for example, cardiovascular disease risk, prostate cancer, breast cancer, just a whole list or host of things that could be secondary to that one thing. And now it doesn't mean that obviously that every person has this disorder. You could pay $600 to get that gene mutation evaluation, but you simply could save yourself a whole lot of issue by just buying the supplement that has folate or methylene-folate, not folic acid. Now, the other trick that they'll do on the bottle is they'll say folic acid, and in parentheses they'll put folate. And again, that is an assumption that the folic acid converts automatically into folate. Not quite true, and they're not synonymous. They're not the same thing, but many of us assume that once you take folic acid, you get automatic conversion into folate. Problem. Or there are some people also taking either prenatal vitamins or just by itself taking folic acid with the intent, again, of preventing, especially in pregnant women, with the intent of preventing neural tube defects in their young, which, again, the intent is for that conversion to be made. But again, almost half of us can't make that conversion automatically. There's a whole host of problems when you have elevated homocysteine levels, because you need folate, not folic acid, to drive down that homocysteine level, to give you things like normalized blood pressure and those kind of things, right? It's a very simple thing to do, and it's not that much more expensive in terms of the supplement that you're taking. So just look at your supplement bottle, look at the bottle itself, and be certain nowhere on that bottle should it say folic acid. If it does, throw it out. Go and look for another brand, and you can Google it yourself, and you can see it should say methylfolate just by itself on the bottle, not anything about folic acid. And again, a lot of us assume that there's going to be an automatic conversion, and it's just not so. And in fact, you're just doing yourself a disservice if you're one of those individuals who are unable to convert that folic acid into folate. So anyway, look at your bottle, take a look at it. Anywhere on that bottle if it says folic acid, I would just say toss it, right? It'll do you no long-term favor. And in fact, any kind of supplement you have, look at the bottle, and in fact, you can get a methylated version of almost anything. And again, if you have that disorder, it's best to take the methylated version of that supplement as opposed to just that supplement by itself. It's just good for you if you have that gene disorder. And many of us don't know about it, right? We have high blood pressure going on for decades, and some people have 4, 5, 6 blood pressure meds on their list, and not one of us typically look back and say, could this simply be an MTHFR gene disorder? No one does that, right? But it's a simple thing for you to do. If you can find the methylated version of the multivitamin or methylated version of folate, then take that as opposed to the folic acid version. Thanks for listening again, Dr. Walker.